is Chrenka, and I am here to introduce some of the books on our summer reading list. You can find the summer reading list at media.fhps.net. Let's see, I'm going to start with a graphic novel by Matt Phelan. It is called Snow White, and it is a beautifully done book. It is a retelling of the Snow White story, but it is set in 1928. It begins just before the stock market crash and then, of course, the Great Depression. Matt Phelan is able to tell a vivid story as much by his words and dialogue, but even more so by what he shows in his illustrations and the story that evolves. It's very bleak. It's a bleak time in American history, and you can see there's very little color used. There's the apple. Fabulous book, Snow White by Matt Phelan. Wolf Hollow by Lauren Wolk. This is one of my favorite books of the year. It's the story set through the eyes of Annabelle, and she lives in a small, quiet town in Pennsylvania, and her quiet world is kind of shaken up, I guess I would say, when Betty Glengarry moves in. So I want to read the first paragraph. I wrote a note to myself to read the first paragraph of this book. This is in what's the prologue. It says, "The year I turned 12, I learned how to lie. I don't mean the small fibs that children tell. I mean real lies fed by real fears, things I said and did that took me out of the life I'd always known and put me down hard into a new one." And again, this story is about truth, lies, honor, and betrayal. It has great characters. It is I can't recommend it enough, Lauren Wolk's Wolf Hollow. Another historical fiction, but set during a different time period, Yard Wars by Taylor Kitchings, is set in 1964, and the main character, Trip Westbrook, doesn't have a lot of opinions about the civil rights struggle that is happening in the U.S. during that time. But what he does know is that his maid son, Dee, likes football just like he does. And when the boys begin a game of football in the front yard, his neighborhood, once smiling and placid, erupts and chooses sides. And unfortunately, Dee and Willie Jane, Dee's mother, are caught in the middle, as is Trip. And he has to decide, he didn't realize there were sides, and now he has to decide what side he's on. Will his parents support him and agree with him? And most importantly, how do Willie Jane and Dee feel about this? Yard Wars by Taylor Kitchings. It shows a side of the civil rights movement that I found really interesting and deceptively simple. It's put together, it's presented to you in a simple way, but nothing about that struggle is simple. It's a great story, well told by Taylor Kitchings. Lily and Dunkin by Donna Gephart. I hope I said her name right. I have a note to myself to read the flap of the book. Sometimes the way that the publisher puts it out to people is the best way to tell you about it, so I'm going to. I really enjoyed reading this book. At the very top it says, "Sometimes our hearts see things our eyes can't." Lily Jo McGovern, born Timothy McGovern, is a girl, but being a girl is not so easy when you are born in a boy's body, especially when you're in the 8th grade. Duncan Dorfman, birth name Norbert Dorfman, is dealing with bipolar disorder and has just moved from the New Jersey town he's called home for the past 13 years. This would be hard enough, but the fact that he is also hiding from a painful secret makes it even worse. One summer morning, Lily Jo McGovern meets Duncan Dorfman and their lives forever change. I think my life forever changed when I read and finished Lily and Duncan. Dive by Deborah Hopkinson is a nonfiction book, and it's based on the research that Deborah Hopkinson did on first-person accounts of people who were in submarines and risked their lives during World War II. She really wanted to bring these stories to light, bring them up from the depths, so to speak, and has done so in a really compelling way. There's lots of pictures And I think the fact that the stories are told from a first-person account makes them even more powerful. Well done, Deborah Hopkinson. I want to remind everyone that many of these books are available in ebook and audio format from Overdrive, which you can find linked on media.fhps.net. And I want to remind you also to read, read, read. Summer is a great time to find a great book and enjoy.